Man, I have a terrible addiction to video games. But it's weird. It's different, I think, than a lot of other people's addictions to video games. I think it's a very MMORPG addiction. I think, especially, was a huge problem for a lot of people. Your World of Warcrafts, what else? EverQuest, Final Fantasy 14, I guess. I had never had that problem in the slightest. Not because I don't think I wouldn't be predisposed to becoming addicted to that. I knew someone in college who got really into World of Warcraft right at the beginning, actually. It was right around the time it was first coming out. And I took one look at it and was like, if I get into that, it's going to be bad. Like, I have exactly the personality type, exactly the inclinations that I would become the character from the South Park episode, the giant pimply person. I would become that. So to this day, I have never played 1 second of any MMORPG, which I think is almost definitely, considering how bad my addiction to just regular RPGs is probably one of the few good life decisions I've made. I think that would be really bad if I started getting into that. No, and I don't do a lot. I don't do basically any of the what do you call them? I'm showing my boomerness here. The not massively multiplayer. The Fortnite play battle royale games. Is that what you call them? Stuff like Fortnite. League of Legends. I think PUBG. Whatever. I don't touch any of that stuff either. I think one time I downloaded Fortnite and played like 2 games of it and was like, I don't really get it. What is Apex Legends also that? No, I don't really do any of that kind of stuff, any of that online multiplayer stuff. I play a little Mario Kart 8 online, but that's basically about it, ever, really. But I feel like just from what I see from people I've known in life and just kind of what you see online and stuff, most really kind of hardcore, like life-ruining style video game addiction comes primarily in the forms of those kinds of games, MMORPGs and battle royale type stuff, online stuff, multiplayer stuff. That's never really been ever an issue of mine at any point in my life. It's more like I get into some modern type games, but it's really like the RPGs and like Metroidvania. It's like these games. I'm always telling myself like I'll play a little bit today, and then I waste a whole day, and then I tell myself when I beat a game, I won't. I'll take a big break, and then 2 days later I'm firing up another game again. Whether it's something old school I've played a million times, like a Final Fantasy Super Nintendo game or something like that, or trying something new. I'm always like I'll play this a modest amount, but then I just get sucked so badly into it, and it's a mess. And then I just waste days, and I tell myself, I'll limit my time. And then I'm booting it up again that night to play for another couple hours, and I don't know. It's defeating the id instead of, and I guess I should be thankful. It could be worse. I'm not addicted to alcohol. In fact, I think the last time, I'm recording this in February 2023, I think the last time I drank any alcoholic beverage of any kind whatsoever was August of last year. So what's that, 6 months? And yeah, I'm not addicted particularly to junk food. There are things I can binge eat if they're put in front of me, like more savory things like a chips or a Cheez-It crackers or stuff like that, as opposed to sweet things. I'm not addicted to cigarettes or any drug. So as far as these things go, it's maybe not the worst in the world, but it is a problem. And I feel like I do know the saying, time enjoyed is never time wasted, so I don't want to say by any means at all that video games have been a net detriment to my life. I don't think that'd be fair. I mean, a lot of friendships, especially in childhood, were forged through that. A lot of content I enjoy watching and reading on the internet has always been about that. Some great experiences that I wouldn't trade in, like first time I played through Breath of the Wild. First time I played through Chrono Trigger. First time I played through Ocarina of Time. First time I played through, some of the Metroid games. Great experiences that I look back on just as fondly as any great experience with a novel or movie or TV show. A lot of the times I look back on the number of hours I spent grinding for levels in RPGs in my life is probably a tragic thing. Like, I probably could have used that time to learn 2 foreign languages, or write, 5 or 6 novels, or just I don't know, get a degree in finance and make hundreds of thousands of dollars working in some white-collar office job. Instead I spent that time grinding to get the 3rd fire spell, or get the ultimate sword, so I can beat the dragon. And I don't know, it's just kind of a little bit depressing to think about, but yeah. And it's not, well, I don't even want to say that that's bad if you're a little kid. I mean, if I was a little kid, that's fine. I don't necessarily regret time I spent in grade school or junior high, or maybe to some extent high school. Maybe I should have been spending some of the hundreds of hours I spent playing video games trying to get laid instead. Certainly as I get into my 30s, I'm kind of like, I get sucked in these bad cycles where I find myself firing up games when I should just be doing something more productive. And again, that's not, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to swear off, like I don't want to sound like I'm swearing off games or denouncing games. Like, absolutely I'm looking forward to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and absolutely I want to play through it, and absolutely I think I'm probably going to enjoy it. I already like preemptively dreading getting sucked into like 8-hour and 10-hour gaming sessions when I shouldn't be. I want to keep playing video games, and I still like them. Sometimes I don't understand some of the modern video games. Like, I didn't really understand Elden Ring. Sorry to anyone it's their favorite game ever, which I've heard a lot of people say, but when I played, I didn't really get. Maybe I'll go back to it and try to put some more time into it again. And some of the other modern stuff, Horizon Zero Dawn, I didn't really understand that either. But yeah, with the stuff I love, I do love a lot. But I don't know, but it's not that I don't want to keep playing video games. I just think I need to figure out a way to start sharply limiting my time. And I've told myself that a number of times before, and sometimes with a game, I'll successfully do that at first. But the deeper I get into it, the worse it gets. Like this game I recently played and reviewed on this channel, Chained Echoes, a retro-style, Western-made JRPG. I was doing really well for the first month or so I had it, only playing about an hour a session, like a few times a week. But then as I got toward the end game, once the kind of optional content and airships started opening up, suddenly now I was putting in 5-hour sessions with it. And it's like, why can't I stick to limits I try to set on myself? So I don't know. I don't know. It's just bad, and I feel like I've wasted a lot of time with that I could have used for more productive means. And I don't even mean that in some strict I had to be feeding the system, I had to be making the maximum amount of money so I can be sending the maximum amount of tax dollars to the government so I can be a good little servant, a good little cog in society. I just mean even in terms of personal goals. Like, I've been trying to write fantasy novels and been trying to work on some other even my YouTube channel, even stuff like just all kinds of like personal kind of a betterment, personal achievements, personal goals that in some cases I've had for years, even decades, that have been gradually pushed off the wayside to for probably what amounts to several hundred hours a year in gaming time. Well, probably more than that, several hundred. That would be less than an hour a day. And I'm afraid what I'm kind of getting at here is that I'm putting in more than an hour a day worth. If I was only putting in an hour a day, that would still be a lot, but I don't think that'd be disastrous. I'm afraid it might come out to closer to 1,000 hours a year of gaming time, so that's not really good. So I don't know if anyone has any good, because I don't think this is like, I don't think I'm like an alcoholic who's gonna die in a drunk driving accident. I don't think I'm gonna die of my video game addiction, and there is still stuff I'm looking forward to. Not necessarily Final Fantasy 16 from what I've seen of it. It just kind of looks like a Devil May Cry game to me. But yeah, certainly the Zelda game and some other. And I'd like to check out Pikmin 4. For whatever reason, I didn't get as into 2 and 3 as I did in 1. Pikmin 1 I loved back in the day. I've played through it, and I've even played through it as recently as a few years ago. And I always really enjoyed that. For whatever reason, Pikmin 2 and 3 just kind of, I never got past the early game stages on those, but yeah, I need to figure out how to, if there's a way I can sort the gaming hobby into an otherwise functional and productive life without it becoming a gaming habit, without it becoming an addiction. I want to say that what I'm going to do is maybe try to set like a half-hour limit on gaming per day, with it not stacking. So if I don't play a game one day, that doesn't mean I get to do an hour the next day. That means a half an hour a day is my limit maximum per day. Try to like set an alarm on my phone and stop playing video games at the end of that amount of time, right? The only problem is that I have said this exact kind of thing before. I'm probably going back years now, and I always end up violating it, so I need to kind of figure out a way to mentally just kind of stay on task, because again, I'm not even saying this in terms of some like, oh, I gotta be a professional adult type way. I don't give a shit about being a productive or cog in the system, being a good citizen. I don't particularly give a shit about that on any level. I never really have, but just in terms of things that I want to do for myself, in terms of self-improvement, self-betterment, meeting personal goals and achievements. Video games are, unfortunately, there's no real way to deny it, holding me back from that. And it's not great, but I don't want to like swear them off entirely like it's heroin or meth or something, because it's not that, but it is a problem. And that's just kind of the funny thing, is that getting back to my first point, when you hear about a video game addict, your brain immediately goes to like someone who's addicted to MMORPGs or various online shooters. You never think about someone who's just like addicted to JRPGs and Metroidvanias. But I'm afraid I kind of am. I mean, I do love they make a lot of Metroidvanias these days. I just need to be a bit more careful in how I limit my time with them. But anyway, yeah, that's it for now. But yeah, I'm gonna hit stop on this recording and then try not to fire up the damn Switch or PS5.